Welcome back, boys, girls, people who still use Tumblr, to another episode of explaining to your mother why you definitely needed to spend that much on a custom keyboard. Slightly embarrassed about it, but yeah, I ended up getting the r/mechanical keyboard phase and probably made a financial decision that I'm going to regret. But my poor spending habits aside, let's get to the actual topic of this video. And this video will be about chasing a dream. Now, that sounds like a very heavy title, and I guess it kind of is, but that depends where you're at. I mean, I'm 20, and I can't tell you what it's like to be one of those quote-unquote never too old people, although I feel like I'm running out of time a lot, but to be fair, who doesn't? I still remember being like that when I was 17 in my business class in college, trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life, and yeah, now I'm 20, I still feel the same, so as far as I can tell you, that feeling will never really go away. But I've made progress, you know, I'm in a stable enough 9 to 5, I have hobbies, lifting weights. On paper, I have a typical successful life, quote unquote. And yeah, while it's greater to be fitter, happier, stronger, there has to be some room for fulfillment, which is why I do this. I'm fully aware that 2010 COD commentaries are not what pleases the algorithm lords. But this genuinely makes me happy. It's a space to talk about things that I think and care about, and if along the way some people listen to me or take something from my midnight script writing, then I think that's great. Being a YouTuber is a job that most people want, especially kids. 99% don't achieve it, and I can't speak for the reasons for that. Hell, this might be the last video I ever make. But I think in the art of chasing a goal, one thing that's often neglected is safety. Now, I'm all about safety. If you want to be a YouTuber, photographer, musician, just anything creative really that you can't just hand your CV into, then you have to take some level of a risk. A lot of younger people think about stuff like this, and if I had £1 for every time I heard someone say, "School just isn't for me," I'd probably have a neat mortgage stacked away. Oftentimes you hear teenagers say that, and when they say it, what they really mean is like, the internet has changed learning and I can do it myself, so I don't need school. And yeah, that's partly true, but you still have to put the effort in, and you're not going to become successful in a creative field after like 2 years. You need money, and if you're not a trust fund kid that can just take that risk, which if you can take that risk, go for it, dude. But most of us can't do that. My family didn't have much money when I was growing up. I live in a small town, so being an aspirational guy, I need a car because I want to move out to a city. So I got a factory job, building frames for sofas, which I saved money while doing, enough to buy myself a PC, which I'm recording this on now. I say this to make the point that during that time I would never say to someone, I am a frame assembler, if they asked what I was doing, because I wasn't. Yes, I worked in frame assembly for money, but I was an aspiring digital marketer who was doing Google Analytics courses when he was at home. Now, yeah, you could easily say that I was framing myself as more important, and you could, but I would argue it's a matter of your own prioritization. For mental health's sake, it's much easier to go, I am working towards this goal and this is how I am doing it, than boxing yourself in and falling into the self-perception of a certain position. Obviously, you still need to work towards that goal, because you'll just be delusional if you don't. To quickly harp on the self-perception part of what I just said, I think it's quite an accidentally easy thing to do. Working in a quote-unquote low-skilled job that really didn't require much brain power, it was really easy sometimes to just sit there and question, like, am I dumb? What was I doing with my life? Did I mess it all up at the age of 18, 19? And at that moment, I was actually asking those questions, but looking back, I think the difference between someone who kind of settles and coasts and someone who keeps moving forward is how you answer those questions. To me, looking back, those questions I asked myself were the hooks of the job and the type of person it could make me settling in. And that's not a shot or a diss at any of my old co-workers. Some of them are great dudes I still talk to regularly. Regardless, while I could have sat around and waited for a digital marketing apprenticeship or done the courses full time, that wasn't the safest option. The safest option was to get whatever job I could and then work at my dream on the side as a way to support myself. Not only is it safer, but for me it's the happier path. While the idea of the struggling artist is romanticised often and is great, it's so much nicer to get a deep sense of fulfillment from extracurricular activities that will then give you the energy to face the work that you're not really fond of. Luckily for me, I did actually enjoy assembling frames a little bit. I mean, it was a physical job, so the dopamine was nice. And I could also sneak my headphones on, so I could listen to podcasts or 2-hour-long video essays about Fallout New Vegas while I make the same sofa over and over and over again for just above minimum wage. But that enjoyment did not quench the more intrinsic thought that I could become stuck, and that's a real motivator. I mean, thinking that you could find yourself stagnant is enough to make me get out of the bed in the morning some days. I don't know about you, but for me, definitely. Fulfillment is something that's really important to me. I think as I upload more videos on this channel, that point will get repeatedly brought back up. I think in the face of modern struggles, having things that appeal to you on a deeper sense than like financial or social clout is key. But that doesn't mean you should take massive risks that have the potential to leave you with nothing. Yeah, some people moved out to LA with nothing but the clothes on their back and became stars from it, but I wouldn't risk your chances. Maybe I'm just a square, but I believe you should always put your best foot forward. Yeah, you could be the next overnight sensation by jumping headfirst into the fire, but more than likely you'll just get burned. I say all of this to say, please never give up on your dreams. I think a lot of what we do day to day is what we quote unquote have to do. So to have something that you can come home to that's only for you is an amazing feeling. Finding something like that is really difficult, and I'm sure I'll make a video on that in the future. But for now, to those who have those dreams, please never forget them, but equally do not give up on reality for those dreams, which is more rare advice. You will be rewarded for taking risks in your life 100%, but you'll also be burned for them too. That's why it's a risk. So in my opinion, it's best to just keep on the safer path. It's often avoided because it's actually the most work to try and progress in multiple parts of life at once instead of closing one away and fully focusing on the other. But I believe you'll never be able to be happy that way. I mean, I wouldn't be. And regarding safety, I think that's it. But before I get out of here, bit off the dome freestyle, I just want to talk about fulfillment. So in this episode, I talked a lot about creative endeavors, creative activities, creative careers. And I think something that is oftentimes not valued within creative careers is that everyone at every level is a creative. So Basquiat is a painter, yeah, but the guy who paints these stock paintings that then get copy and printed to be sold in Asda a million times, that guy's also a painter, but we don't look at them like they're the same person because the art is different. Everyone serves a role and everyone serves a purpose. And I think oftentimes we're told that if you're not the most hyper successful person within whatever it is you want to do, then you're a bum or you're anything. And while, yeah, there'll always be people above you and there'll probably always be people below you, I think it's the intrinsic feeling of doing something that you care about and something that you love, which should be deeply valued, not necessarily that, okay, I am a painter and in the world of painters I am ranked here. If you're the guy who takes photos to put on the Target website, you're still a photographer. If you're the guy who directed the music video for your best friend's rap album in like high school, then you're still a director in some sense. And I think a lot of the time people rely on success happening, or people wait for success to happen before they can allow themselves to enjoy what they're doing, or that they can even let themselves do what they're doing. Most people wouldn't even claim that they're a director unless they've directed something quote unquote of note or of social clout or visibility or something like that. So if you are out there chasing a dream, if you are doing something that you care about and something that you want to be successful, just know that you don't have to wait for it to be successful to care about it, and you don't have to wait for it to be successful to talk to people about it and things like that. If they're good people and they're around you, they'll support you in what you do. And if they don't, I think that's a point where you then question those people and why they're in your life or why they would think that way about something that they know you care about. But yeah, to all my struggling artists, yeah, I wish you the best. Don't put yourself down too much, because at the end of the day you're still an artist and you don't have to be Keith Haring or Andy Warhol or Murakami to feel proud of what you've done. I don't mean for these videos to be this heavy. I feel like everyone just gets more like that, but I think it's just the type of person that I am. But you know the deal. Pull over if you get tired, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.